One.
Hello!
Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Damn, you're loud.
Whoops, sorry.
I almost said we're Rebel-based podcast.
Yeah, I know. It's still. You know, we're on episode 4 now,
Yeah,
and
we're
we're
still
still kind of like
Woman up. Woman up.
It is April 29th, not 2014, which is what I usually write on papers.
2015, yeah.
It's 2015.
Yeah.
And I'm ohCatrina.
And I'm Sarah_TheRebel.
And
this is actually
the Woman Up podcast. Hi, thank you for joining us.
We practiced that intro.
We really did.
You can tell.
Past
Maybe.
3 hours, all we were doing. There was a lot of fights.
Maybe we should practice.
Hello, Night Hunter.
Hello.
Your name is very ominous.
No, he's nice. He sent me that.
He's nice.
Oh, you can't see it because I folded it up to be an adult. It's a onesie. It's a red panda onesie.
Oh, so cute.
I
That's
called
awesome.
it a red raccoon onesie for like a whole day, and I kept thinking in my head, red raccoon just doesn't sound. I could picture the red panda in my head, but I kept saying red raccoon. I blame Team Human.
Yeah, they're a wily bunch, aren't they?
Quote her on that.
Quoter. Yep. Team Humans,
Team
you like
Human.
Twitter account
We're
description.
wily.
A wily bunch.
A wily bunch. Lord have mercy.
I love it. There you go. You're welcome.
So in case you're brand new, this is our podcast where we talk about geeky things like comics and video games and movies based on comics and video games. And also just whatever else we feel like, from the perspective of two feminist cat ladies. We have a cat, but he's sleeping right now. I
There's
don't mean
another
we're not like
cat.
together, but
There's another cat over there. My cat is at home. There are a lot of cats involved in the production of this podcast.
you don't have to have a cat on you at all times to be a crazy cat lady. Remember that,
You don't need to even have more than one.
right?
In fact, you don't even need a cat in a way. You just really need to like them.
Like super. This is a deconstructed cat lady that I'm serving for you today.
Look, everyone is welcome to the Cat Lady fandom as far as I'm concerned.
Hello, John Rob Tom.
Hello.
So today our main topic is going to be starting your own podcast and some things we found out along the way and we want to give to you. So we're being hella meta.
Yeah, it's super meta. So if you want to start a podcast, particularly a more unique one or one that challenges or is progressive in any way, we have a lot of experiences to share with you and ways to work with it and grow your podcast and do awesome stuff.
I'm hella progressive, homies.
Mm-hmm. I'm so progressive, the
I'm
insurance
like-
company's suing me.
Oh, I was going to make a spaghetti joke because of progressive. Okay.
Oh.
And no,
They're not suing me. Please don't sue me.
Yours was better.
I don't know money.
And also, in case you're new, the way we generally do this is we do news, then we do our main topic, and then we do chick picks, a section where we tell you what we think you should check out this week.
Yeah.
So let's dive
Diving into the news. Street sex. No.
You knew what it was. It's my pin.
Yep. Well, let's do this thing.
So first up is Suicide Squad Joker has been revealed. This is our faces. All right, so I'm gonna break down my issues with it if you don't mind.
Go for it.
So the image that they presented with us wasn't shocking to me, as it seemed to be to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen crazy maniacal villains tattooed up before.
Mm-hmm.
So that is my problem with it. Is Joker is this villain who's not like any other villain. He's full of mystery. He doesn't quite make sense. He's almost somebody you relate to, but then he does something horrifying, and you're like, oh my god, how do I like this person?
Mm-hmm.
So to relegate him to like a CSI villain, the kind of villain that is typecast in almost everything, is the maniac who's been to jail a few times and is covered in tattoos, makes me very nervous. Because that, from this first look, is the image that comes to mind of that archetypal villain who's been to jail a few times, who's crazy, who the other inmates fear a little bit. Like, I can get a whole story from that image. And that concerns me.
Joker looks like a Tallahassee meth head. I mean, I've seen them before, and that's what he looks like. And, Joker looking drugged up and crazy would not be something, weird for me. But it just kind of seemed, it doesn't make sense that Joker would be like, yeah, put these tattoos of the things I say all over, just in case I forget. And also put damaged on my head because I hit it once. I don't know what, it just feels like too much. But I have seen like leaked images of a different looking Joker who's in a white suit. I mean, he's still got the same hairstyle, still Jared Leto, but he doesn't have tattoos on his face, and so I don't know, like the sites that I'm reading and the journalists that like I trust to get scoops like this, they're saying that these tattoos are gonna stay in the movie, but that like the 2 photos I've seen are like not.
Do you think they're gonna be CGI tattoos?
Maybe. What if they just grow on him as he progressively gets crazier?
Oh my god.
Oh my god. It'll almost be like Zack Snyder's directing the film. And that was a pot shot, so. But again, I didn't want Joker to be in this film at all. I'm upset that he's in a Suicide Squad film. I am upset at the very possibility of Batman being involved. But for Joker to be involved in this capacity, it's kind of like, it feels like the Suicide Squad movie is just going to be there to set up Batman and Superman, or Batman and the Joker, and not like Harley or Deadshot or members of the Suicide Squad. Right. So,
if he steals this show, it'll be a little disappointing.
Because I went to a movie about the Suicide Squad, not the Joker.
Mm-hmm. So, yes. You know, speaking of Amanda Waller, this is a. Woo.
Oh yeah, didn't even mention her yet.
I'm very happy with her casting. I watched a movie, an older cartoon movie the other day. It was like Batman and Superman. Lex Luthor became president. And he started pumping some sort of mixture into his veins. And he's talking to Amanda. She's like, "Boo boo, you going crazy." She's trying to tell him that, but he goes, "Don't worry, you'll have a place in my new world order." And then he made out with her. And she tried to... she was like, "Oh!" Very unhappy. So she immediately goes, after she escapes, to get somebody to arrest him.
Wow.
Not for sexual harassment, but for, being insane and trying to ruin the world.
Yeah, of course.
But I bring it up because I have never been so disturbed. Like, Capwan could verify my face. He laughed at me when it happened because I was just so disgusted and horrified.
Yeah.
So I really hope that they don't try to make any random weird shit like that happen in this real movie. Because that was a cartoon.
Yeah, and it's also like, I don't know, Lex Luthor is like crazy, but he's like Donald Trump crazy, not like, well, Donald Trump crazy may very well be sexual molestation crazy.
Wait. I think he's a little less crazy than Donald Trump.
He's not Donald Trump crazy, but he's like Donald Trump on Twitter crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, like that.
Right.
So yeah.
We're only going to talk briefly about this next news topic because we're both angry and don't want to keep talking about it.
Yeah.
But Jeremy Renner, who plays Hawkeye, called Black Widow some names. And then issued a non-apology.
Yeah, it was like, "Sorry for making fun of your fictional character." And it really sucks because I've seen the Avengers, like I've seen Age of Ultron now, and it's like, that joke doesn't even make sense. It once you see the movie, it literally does not make sense.
Well, it wouldn't make sense.
Of course not. But because of Hawkeye's character, it does not make sense. So yeah, of course, Jeremy Renner issued a non-apology because he is an asshole. And yeah, and honestly, no amount of Hawkeye singing about how he's part of the team too will make me forget that.
I didn't even want to watch it.
I watched it. I was like, I like Hawkeye jokes. I can appreciate Hawkeye, but that guy freaking sucks.
I didn't watch it. I was just like, I have no interest in anything else you do. You're already ugly with a smushed nose, and then you gonna call my girl a hoe? Fuck you, Hawkeye. You don't do shit.
On the upside, the good news, and this happened, I think, yesterday, actual darling Mark Ruffalo, who continues to do good things while his co-stars do douchey things.
Mark Ruffalo.
Thank you. Tweeted at Marvel and demanded more Black Widow toys for his daughters and nieces. And he didn't demand. He's Mark Ruffalo, so he said pretty please. But yeah, that has been.
He's like, hey, did we ever talk about why Disney and doesn't let them release things for girls?
Oh yeah, because of that employee who came out. Yeah, I don't think we actually had. We haven't spoken about it. We may have done that earlier.
So just briefly to let you know, basically Disney has the female market covered, and so it wouldn't really make any sense to try to reach a new female market under their Marvel things, because they've got female demographic completely covered. They're aiming solely for the male demographic, which they don't have through Disney. through Marvel, so that's why they're not making, and they're just not interested, and they're probably never going to.
It's like, why don't you want... I mean, I understand, yeah, we want to, like, focus on growing our guy demographic, but why don't you just want more of that other one, too? Like, why does one demographic have to get shut out? Like, it sucks that, like, if, you know, and if you are a boy who likes Frozen on that, you know, on the flip side, you're getting nothing. Everything is in pink.
That's what I was about to say. I almost have a bigger problem with it in this idea that boys don't buy those kinds of toys because, and this is like a sexist one, but my nephew had a ton of female action figures because they were girlfriends for his characters, and my other young relative, who I'm not going to out because he's not out yet, had female characters because he liked female characters. So you're not missing. Even if you want to say, oh, it would be too much to aim for the female demographic and miss it, we would lose money. It's kind of weird to think that men and boys don't want these female characters as well.
And it's absolute bullshit, too, because, so when Phantom Menace came out, there was a comlink toy that came with the 3.5-inch figures, and you could, like, put their little comlink on.
That.
Yeah, I had all the voices. I had everything. Yeah. And then I also had, like, a bunch of little, like, Leia dolls, and, like, I had Han, and mainly Han and Leia. But I also had a couple Lukes, and so when we would play Star Wars in my neighborhood, I was about, like, 11 years old at the time, and, like, those had just come out. And my guy friends, like, because I almost strictly played with boys at the time, they would always come knock on my door and go, like, hey, do you have an extra Padme, or do you have an extra Leia? The team isn't finished, and can you like bring them out and shit? So it's always like, I think even for little boys, a lot of them are just completionists. Like, even if it's not something like I want a girl character, it's more like I want everybody here,
right?
And it's just absolute bullshit. And like I don't know. I don't understand. Like, you're already making that much money. Why don't you want to make more money with a demographic that spends too? Like, that is, like, the most, like, tropey thing I can say about women, but by and large, we spend more on the things we like.
Right.
So...
That's why you see geek women just covered in geeky tattoos. They spend hundreds of dollars
just to let you know. Lolita fashion.
What they love.
Freaking, pretty much buying any women's fashion in like, geekdom, unless you, like, go to T-Fury and stuff. That's... You know.
There's now a $500 outfit, I think it's on Her Universe, so that you could be a Star Wars, like, member of the Empire, like the officer
outfit. 501st?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's how much women are willing to spend on geeky things. It's so strange to just, like, boycott all that. And then, you know, this is an awkward and strange thing to say, but in The Sims, my family is generally, I like to see what different people I know would look like. So... One time I end up with this son, and the son happened to be African American as much as you could be in The Sims. I don't actually know if they're from Africa. That's another topic for another time. But anyway, the thing he decided to pursue as a elementary school kid was ballet. So I go to decorate his room. It's all lady ballerinas. It's all a bunch of white lady ballerinas. And it made me really sad. I was like, oh, this is how parents feel. Like, this is how it feels when there's nothing to represent your child to them. And so, you know, just like you said with Frozen, you know, for guys too, and for geeky characters, for women too. Like, why are you making this so difficult, dudes?
Yeah, like, don't you like making money? Like, I mean, I know that you want to target a demographic, but as somebody who has worked in marketing... There are other ways to do that outside of toy sales. Like, and I know toy sales are what makes Marvel and Disney and all that run, but still, like...
Yeah, and I mean, in other ways, too. Like I said, I found out from somebody working in marketing that there's not going to be any Black Panther merch. They're not planning on it.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
They're making a whole movie, and they don't plan to do any merch for it.
I'm going to have to look that shit up, because that is crazy.
I don't think it's anywhere. This is, like...
Just a rumor, yeah.
No,
or like an insider.
Insider. Somebody who definitely knows. And she was like, nah, why? They're not making that. And I was just like, oh. Well, I was really relying on
I'm sure they'd make a bunch of Spider-Man merch, though, if he were in there instead of Black Panther. Of course. But, of course not Miles.
Yeah, I was about to say.
So, yeah. That was...
Right.
Mad.
Sorry, we went all into...
I'm so mad. I'm really mad.
Yeah. Anyway. Moving into video game news, Silent Hill was canceled. Silent Hill PT is coming down from PSN. Konami
today
pulls from the stock market.
It's been is Konami like closing or what? Like, this is, I know they have other titles lined up, but that was like it was the Spider-Man to their Sony, you know, like, and it sucks that they had whatever differences they had with Kojima, and they fired him, and
they were like, we made a mistake, let's just commit company.
Let's just go.
And that's what happened.
Yep.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on, but the gif that best explained it was the cat gif, where the cat's just knocking things off, fuck this, fuck that, and just replaced with Konami titles. And then Kojima, it was, I retweeted it, you can find it, but that's how I feel.
Yeah, there are, like, no real words except for, what are you doing?
Right. I'm sure we'll know more as it comes, but definitely a lot of heartbroken people out there. And maybe even more not heartbroken people, and maybe that's why they stopped. You know me, guys, I don't play horror games. Although, if you get me to my correct goal in my Patreon, I will play a horror game for you, so I'm just saying.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh my god, I hope you guys don't pick that one.
Do it, pick it.
This one's now kind of old, but I was just so excited about it. The guys at the Warp Zone have been working on their YouTube channel for years. I think it's been like 4 years. And they're getting really close to 1 million subs. And they, on one of their friends at Smosh Games' birthday night, go, oh shit, we're trending. And we look on Twitter and Facebook, and they were trending on both of them. So if you haven't seen it, check out their acapella Mortal Kombat song video. It's pretty hilarious.
They just got shared by Stan Lee today, so I saw that.
My booze!
Yay!
It's so great when you see people that you know, like, doing big things, because you're like, that's my homie.
Yep.
Like, Malik won the Mortal Kombat contest, and I got to play with Wade Brady, and I'm just like, that's my friend,
That's freaking awesome.
I just wanted to show them some love. They can't go on chick pics because they're not chicks, so I made it news. Ha!
Hey!
The Black Ops 3 trailer was released. So I'm laughing because I put this on here, and I forgot to go watch the trailer.
I ain't seen it. Nope.
I normally cover video games.
I don't care about Call of Duty. I'm sorry. Like, I'm gonna get launched directly off of Twitch. They're just like, I still don't care about Call of Duty.
Don't care. Oh god, I hope it's such a yellow should fly away. So I'm gonna put that on for next time, but I won't watch it let you know how I feel. My bad, homies. I looked through this beforehand too, and I just somehow missed that.
Okay.
I was like, yeah, I know all of this.
We'll worry about that later.
Oh me. Oh Sarah. Classic Sarah. So comic artists have been drawing sick kids as superheroes. Did you hear about this?
Yes, I did. I am very happy about this little initiative that's going on, and I think it just reflects on the comic community as a whole. Again, we may have some fuckboys, but comics are where it's at, y'all. Sorry.
Too bad it's like the smallest geek industry.
I know, next to tabletop gaming.
Yeah.
Comics and tabletop, that's all I'm about, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's such a cute like initiative, and a lot of really cool artists have gotten in on it. So if you haven't checked it,
I just posted the link in the chat.
Check that out,
so you can look.
Which will be pretty cool. And yeah, no, it's just.
And it was organized by Chicago Loot Drop. And they had some cool characters such as the Seer, which is Sabrina, and she has scoliosis. She was paired with Tony Moy. We had, I thought this one was extra cute, Mrs. Hulsentine.
Oh.
Kylie, age 12. She has neuroblastoma, which actually sounds like a superhero thing.
Yeah.
She was paired with Gabo Bautista. Bautista. Taste it.
A lot of girls on this list.
Yeah, there were. There was Magic Morpher, who is Autumn, who's 10. She suffers from Chiara malformation and pseudotumor cerebri. They probably should have been like, FYI this on the end of all these diseases. Ali Cantarella is Aaron. He's 5 years old, and he wants to shoot ice from his hands so he can score more goals in soccer. And Rich Kuntz is the dude behind that one. But then this was the one I felt was, oh, if this was me, this is what I would have chosen. Basically, I look like Catwoman. I'm riding on a bear. Animal healer for Ashley, 12. She's diagnosed with acute lymphoid leukemia. And Ryan Brown, known for God Hates Astronauts, did her design.
It's so cute. She's got all these animals, and the bird's giving her a high five.
Yeah, high five from the bird.
High five from the bird.
Yeah.
So
it's my bird.
Yeah, we were tweet, motherfuckers.
Why did you just murder me, bird? we had a pact. We were gonna be friends together.
Speaking of adorable children, DC has launched a 4 Girls initiative, which I have a mixed opinion on. But I'm happy to see it. I don't know. As per usual, every time DC does something good, it also kicks itself in its own ass 3 times.
Isn't there like a website like the last time DC fucked up and it's never made it past a few
3 days, yeah. So first on this initiative, so Mattel and DC are teaming up to make figurines and comics and cartoons and little short inserts in between TV shows for the lady characters, including Wonder Woman, Supergirl. What do we got? Bumblebee is up there, Batgirl, and a lot of other really cool superheroines. And it's kind of it's not necessarily like Barbie-ish, but it is very princessy, where they're very like cute girls and they have like glittery powers, and I have mixed feelings on it. Like, it's cool, and I'm really glad that it's like, this is something we're making just for girls, but then it's just like, this is something we're making for girls. So does anybody have a tub of glitter? Like, glitter, can I get a tutu over here, please?
Dump the doll in the glitter.
So I'm happy about it. I'm happy that it's happening. Other things that DC has done this week are not as happy-inducing, but I hope that it's a step in the right direction, even if it is kind of like a step in the right direction from your like previously racist grandpa. It's kind of how it's like, DC is really trying. DC is this 80-year-old man that's like, okay, honey, I will listen to your gay talk. And there's an effort, but then every time there's a step forward, there are 3 steps back, and it just hurts because, I mean, if you've watched this podcast or its previous incarnation at all, you know that I was raised on DC and Star Wars, and then to grow up and realize all these terrible things about the company that made some of my favorite comics is just, like, disheartening. Right. And so, I feel like as a DC fan, if I continuously call them out, they'll stop being stupid and not ignorant, but I mean, there is an ignorance there, but like, I don't know. There needs to be more of a team and family atmosphere at DC, because it kind of feels like there are a bunch of like 80-year-old dudes over here. Here are the creators.
They're very siloed. Yeah.
Woo-hoo!
They do seem very, very siloed in that they don't have good communication within them.
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, on the one hand, I'm excited. On the other hand, because they're making such a big deal out of it, and because they're trying to make something new and different, if it fails, it's going to be pointed to by any other company as,
well, look, girls don't like superheroes.
Want superheroes, right? Like, they brought up something interesting in the article that you showed me to get ready for it, which is that Lego started marketing towards girls and realized, oh, girls like these same sorts of things, but they play differently, which I can definitely vouch for. I mean, maybe... Again, I played differently with my Barbies, too, though. My Barbies all had kingdoms, and there was a slave culture. The whites with blonde hair and blue eyes were slaves marked with Lisa Frank tattoos on their backs, but they could win free through gladiator battles. And we had a queen of the kingdom of fire and a queen of the kingdom of water, and they used to go to war, and they would fight to the death. And I found out from some girls my own age that was not how any of them played Barbies. So, anyway, for Lego's instance, what they found was girls would build sets and then not want to destroy them because they spent all that time building them. So in that way, they learned, okay, we should make things that girls can play with again, that are kind of replayable, that they can use for other things without having to destroy. So, hopefully they take this really seriously and don't just go, new Barbie, but it's Batgirl. She looks
it's
stupid.
just, DC marketing is like, what? You're on Twitter and talking to us? Oh, we did it? What? I can't hear. Okay, you want more male characters? Oh, you want them to be white? Okay, I'll be there. Like, that's DC. But, shout outs to my dad who just came in. My dad's here. Hi, Dad. Hi. So let's get into X-Men Apocalypse.
Yes.
We've had photo leaks that I've been nervous about posting on Facebook because I'm excited about them, but then we have a friend who is working on the movie, and I don't want to be like, yeah, look at these leaked photos.
Wow.
But I am.
That's our life.
I know. It's like, I know you're working real hard on this, but I'm going to go look at all these.
I never feel... This is
I always
so weird.
feel so bad.
I never feel bad about that sort of... It never occurs to me to feel bad about it.
I don't know. I overthink everything. Like I overthink everything when it comes to like people who I have like.
If I worked on Game of Thrones, I wouldn't be like, "Hey guys, here's a link to pirate Game of Thrones." I would never think twice about it. I'd be like, "Here, everybody."
I have respect for people. I don't know, but I do feel like sad about it. But so costume leaks.
Yeah, Jubilee looks great.
Jubilee is fucking amazing. I'm so happy. Like I look at Jubilee and I'm like, she's gonna be the Quicksilver of this film. She's gonna be like that most awesome character, you know? And she's a complete newcomer, too. So, really excited to see what Lana Conway, Conrad? Not Conrad.
Not her damn name.
But her name is Lana. Lana! And I'm excited to see Lana take on.
Here,
yeah.
Let's get her name.
Then, of course, we have Nightcrawler. His official costume was released. That's Cody Smith McPhee. Yeah. That's his name. I know.
Jacob
I don't know.
Ever spit up in this bitch.
I know, right?
If you go be yellow, you need to be further back with the microphone. Thanks, Tommy.
Sorry.
I do wish they'd given her these glasses, though.
Well, in another shot, she has sunglasses.
I mean, she has sunglasses.
Yeah, she has sunglasses right there.
But I wish they'd been these.
That's been, like, the biggest thing is everyone, even though the costume looks great and she looks great, I've had people going, like, well, she should have short hair and the glasses. And I'm like, I don't care.
I'm fine with it.
This is, like, the best we've gotten.
Right, this is the best Jubilee we've ever gotten.
Ever.
And I'm not like, this is a sticking point, I wish she had these glasses. I'm just like, these glasses would have been fucking dope.
They would have been super dope. I hope she just gets them at some point. There are also new
Lana
photos.
Lana
Condor, there we go. Then we got some photos of Sansa Stark as Jean Grey.
Oh, is this somebody talk about her mom?
Oh, yeah. And then Cody McPhee, and Cyclops is there too.
It's so weird to see Sansa doing anything other than being in a corset and looking slightly distressed.
Yeah, now she kind of just looks bored. They're all in a mall. They're 80s kids in a mall.
Excellent.
Nightcrawler is wearing this, like, Michael Jackson jacket. It's, like, bright red with, like, black stripes on it. I was like, okay, we stole Michael Jackson's jacket. That's fine.
So, we actually owned one of those in my family. I got to wear it to school on 80s Day.
Wow.
Like, from the 80s. Unfortunately, I may also have lost it. Childhood, man. Fucking kids. Don't give kids your cool shit.
Seriously, they will ruin everything. Kids are disgusting.
Kids are the worst.
Kids are horrible.
Horrifying.
Oh, my niece is getting born, like, next week, by the way, on that note.
Is getting born.
She is going to be born sometime in the next week.
She's a bornin'.
And kids are horrible.
She's a morning.
They're great. My nieces are great. I don't care about any other children. There's a new show coming out on Sci-Fi, as per usual. It is called Killjoys, which I thought was something...
Wait, is it based on the comics?
No.
Oh.
I thought it was the comics as well by Gerard
excited.
Way and Becky Cloonan, but
Comics
they are
great.
not. Yeah, I love that series, actually. I love the entire, like, Killjoys concept with those videos and everything. I loved it. But, yeah, it's a bounty hunter space opera, which in theory sounds really good to me.
We like those.
Led by a person of color, a woman of color.
Oh.
She has 2 sidekicks. They're both white guys. But
She needed
like,
them.
Squad!
She needed them. Sci-Fi was like, I don't know. And she was like, both of my best friends are white. And they were like, oh, okay.
Okay, that's cool.
Fine.
So yeah, in concept, it looks great. The scene I saw was like weird. Like, she's supposed to be the leader of this bounty hunter trio, and she seems like a really cool character, but the clip they chose just doesn't really, like, make me fall in love with it. But the description does. And it's coming up really soon on Sci-Fi Channel, which is, they're doing their best, and they have a lot of new programming coming up. So I'm excited. I'm going to watch this show, because Bounty Hunter Space Opera? Yes, I will automatically watch anything that is called the Bounty Hunter Space Opera. Like, you give that shit a chance. You fucking sit down, you give it a chance. But yeah, I mean, it grabbed my attention because of the title, and I am interested in seeing where it goes. It is by the creator of Lost Girl, which is really cool, because I really like that show.
Had great things.
So that's why I'm just like, maybe it's, there's lesbians. And
I was about to say, whoa, that was a lady, that was a lady.
And also the people who worked on Orphan Black are working on the show. So, like, even if the clip seems a little dumb, the trailer seems great, and I trust the people behind it. So, check out Killjoys. It's coming out real soon, and let's talk about it later on the show.
I love Farscape, Catrina's dad.
Oh, yeah. That's a big Farscape.
He's like, they should have bring it back. Man, that show had 1 billion seasons. It's fine.
You can watch it now on Con TV. Farscape is up.
I have Farscape's I have all of Farscape on this laptop. It took me 2 months to download it.
I completely believe you, too.
Alright, it's main topic time.
Woo! Main topic! We're finally here! Ah!
That was my drum.
That's great. That was wonderful, Sarah.
So today we're talking about creating your own niche podcast.
Woo!
Anyway, Catrina.
So as you can see, Women Up Podcast is a very opinionated podcast, and we're also a live show, which is not the standard for podcasts, and it does make things very difficult, but we work on it. We try. I will eventually get us on iTunes. So we run this podcast, and we kind of planned this out and decided on our formats before we wanted to do it. But if you want to set up a niche podcast, make sure that you have, before you start, a defined mission, purpose, goal, or subject, because with us, our goal is to bring a feminist perspective to geek culture and hopefully improve it and make it happy and wonderful for everyone. But your goal might just be to talk about why this one side character was totally shafted and whatever. So before you start, always have a goal in mind, always have a direct message, and know what you are talking about. Especially if you're passionate about it and you want to spread that to other people.
Right. Like, even we kind of dance on the line of how vague you can be with a topic.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, if you can be more specific, like Catrina's Star Wars podcast is actually a better example of a podcast format because it's very specific and she can target it a lot easier than Women Up Podcast. But dang it, if we can't just settle down on one thing we want to both talk about. So, damn it, we're doing our own thing.
And that's why they're completely different shows, too, and that's why I like doing both rather than, like, choosing one over the other. And because, Moss Isley, my other podcast, deals with comics, but I also deal with the most recent comics, not just something that, like, everyone can get into. So it's all about formatting your show so it can expand to other people, because here on Women Up, we want everyone to feel like they're welcome, and we try to do that. I think we try to angle it well enough. And over on Moss Isley, like, I focus a certain amount of time on the comic of that week, but then I throw back to the EU, or I'll talk to some of my voice actor friends, or I'll book somebody who recently worked on a Star Wars book, so that everyone, no matter what they do, can at least tune into, like, a portion of your podcast. So I'll flip that over to you to talk about format.
So the second most important thing after you decide on your mission statement and everything is to decide what format works for you. Doing it live is extremely difficult.
Yes.
Again, we just chose the thorniest path possible.
We were like, let's make this the most difficult podcast to manage.
Doing a visual podcast is pretty unusual. Most people like to listen to podcasts. Ideally, our podcast should also be available for you to listen to on iTunes, but we'd be slacking.
I am a big lazy ass, but I generally have like an entire hour left in my day these days to go like, over the audio.
But do as we say, not as we do.
Yeah, of course, please.
So if you do choose to have a visual podcast, highly recommend that you rip the audio and also put the audio somewhere so that people can listen to it. Because a lot of the reason people like podcasts is, we take road trips, we commute, this has become our lives now. People listen to audiobooks while they drive. A lot of people are spending a lot of time in cars. And one of the easiest things to do then is to listen to a podcast. So that's a great way to help your podcast grow. Mm-hmm. We also choose to do it visually, though, because we like to interact with people. And this is, because we're both geeks, this is where we live. We live on Twitch and Twitter and things like that. And we want to have a heavily interactive podcast. And so that's why we chose this format. So you can choose, just do audio, do visual. If you do visual, highly recommend you also do audio. You should decide how long your podcast is. Some podcasts, personally, I feel go entirely too long. I have a few friends, whose podcasts I can't even listen to. Because
our podcast this week is 2 hours and 48 minutes long. And it's like, I'm not listening to that this week then.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Your 4-hour podcast, I'm sleepy.
My advice for any podcast is to keep it to an hour, unless you have something more to say. An hour should be enough time for you to get your point across, and sometimes it takes even less. Like, Mos Eisley hasn't capped over 45 minutes yet.
Right.
So.
And I mean, honestly, if you do have more to say, you can even just do more podcasts in a week.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
or you could make accompanying videos to your podcast, which would be an even better way.
Look, they're having sex.
Stop it! Gross. It would be an even better way to complement your weekly podcast if you have viewers that are like, oh, well, I can also watch them on video, so.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So decide on how long you want it to be. Decide if you want a break in the middle for snacks, which a lot of podcasts do if they have the break. They put on some music. They put like an interesting little image on if they're doing a visual podcast, and they remember to mute the microphone.
Yes.
If they're doing an audio podcast, you can add that break in there manually because audio podcasts are recorded earlier. They're not done live.
Mm-hmm.
That is the other benefit, sorry, I forgot to mention, of doing an audio podcast is that because you're not doing it live, you have a lot more control over the editing and what it sounds like and, you know, any breaks or cool noises you want to add into it. That can all be done very easily if you have that sort of time.
Yeah.
If you don't.
And always make sure you have time for your podcast.
Right.
Like, it took me a good 2 months to decide that I wanted to even do Mos Eisley. So, yeah.
And then lastly, as far as format, you should research. We looked at what other podcasts that we enjoy were doing before we made our decisions, and you should do the same thing. You know, do you want to be more like the anime podcast, which breaks it down so that each host researches a different thing and brings it back to the group every single week? Mm-hmm. Do you want to be more like the co-optional podcast, where it's, you know, there's always a guest and they're talking about set things? I mean, look at what other people are doing. The Black Girl Nerds podcast is pretty much fucking amazing and hilarious.
Oh, yeah. I love them.
So look around. What do you enjoy? Because that's just like with any social media tip I can give you. The biggest thing is, what do you share? What do you enjoy? What do you like? And try to ensure that your podcast is going to be that way as well.
Mm-hmm. So next up, picking topics. Pick your topic. Pick.
Get your fingers out of my camera. That's fine. Ew. I just didn't like that.
I don't like that topic.
Why? Why? Actually, we kind of already talked about picking your topic.
Yeah, we kind of covered that.
We went out of order.
Oh, whoops, sorry.
But about your topic, make sure it's something you can actually say a lot about.
Yeah, week after week after week. Have something consistent that's going to last you forever. Mm-hmm. If you could wake up and talk about this thing every day and have something new to say, go for it.
Like our friends with their Buffy podcast. What is
it? Sunnydale Study Group.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you like Geek and Thunder, you should check out some of the vloggers and their friends have a new podcast all about Buffy. And they haven't invited me to be on yet, and I'm like, what is wrong with you? Do you not know who the fuck I am?
They haven't invited me either, but then I'm like, oh, I haven't seen a lot of Buffy. I haven't seen enough.
They had Becca come on to talk about Angel, which is the most hetero romance of all of Buffy. Like, why not have had me talk about, even though I like Spike better. I can tell you a lot about Angel. Anyway, it's fine, whatever. I'm not salty about that.
Okay.
Engaging your audience.
Yes. So after you launch your podcast, and even before, you're going to want to have something of an audience. Your audience will always be your biggest advocate. You know, people... I went to Star Wars Celebration, and people didn't just mention Mos Eisley. They mentioned Woman Up. Mm-hmm. And they were like, oh, I watched you on Woman Up and followed you to Mos Eisley because I love Star Wars. And so thank you guys if you guys are watching. And because of the work that we put into engaging our audience, our audience, you guys go out there and you talk about us and you, like, tweet quotes from the podcast, or you interact with other fans. Team Human again is a wonderful audience for a podcast. I mean, yes. We are very blessed.
Hashtag blessed.
Hashtag blessed. But yeah, always make sure there's something for your audience, because they're not just there. I mean, of course they're just there to listen to you and see you talk, or in a visual format. But always make sure to think about them. Give them contest prizes, or see if you can in contest prizes, see if you can hook up with related sites that might give you free things for your viewers, or even just engaging them on Twitter. Like, being active and live on Twitter and making them know that they're important to you is the best way to grow your audience. And of course, having a social presence.
Having a social presence is something else that is... Stop. What are you doing, making love to the table now? Why is he so cute?
Bailey, stop it. Stop.
Did you say
it? Oh my god, he's so cute.
Okay, listen.
Okay.
Having a social presence is pretty important. You don't need to have a Facebook, but you at least need to have a Twitter or a website that people can go to catch up and watch your archives. Twitter is really easy to use. I would recommend just making sure you tweet once a day. I was better at it when I was at work because I had a schedule. Now that I'm unemployed, I tend to be a bum and forget about any other Twitter but my own. It's a long story. Anyway.
Or if you want, you can always schedule your tweets ahead of time.
Right.
Hootsuite is free in basic format.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't like that basic.
I don't like that basic format either, but, you know, if you got to keep your Twitter alive,
right.
tweet out some interesting stuff and schedule it.
Right. Schedule all your tweets. And don't just tweet your podcast because, and this is just a quick and dirty, if you guys ever want more information about accurate social media, you're talking to two really good people who can help you with that. But basically, you don't want to constantly be pushing your product on people. That doesn't make an engaging or interesting Twitter. You want to give people an actual reason to follow you. You're funny, you're interesting, you share cool things. You know, I make Nerdy But Flirty a resource. You know, I actually still do their Twitter randomly. Not on purpose, but just because nobody else is doing it. But I try to make it also like a place to find video game jobs, job openings. You know, like find something that your podcast can do for people and do that as well as sharing your link.
And even share other podcasts that are related to you. It's really important to make those relationships count because, again, at Star Wars Celebration, there was a giant podcaster meetup, and the amount of people that came up and said they listened to my freaking stupid podcast that has, like, 3 episodes right now, and then Woman Up, which was recently...
Yeah, no, she ain't called
was
us stupid.
before Rebel Base. You know, they all talked to me, and because we've interacted before, and we've talked to each other on Twitter before, and we like each other's shows. So go out there, find the shows you like that have to do with your show, and make some friends. It's important.
Make friends. Make Sarah and Catrina's life advice. Make some friends, homies. Have you seen the Tumblr post going around how to make friends as an adult?
Oh, no.
It's pretty amazing. It's like 23 items, and one of them is like, join a sewing club or something. I don't know. Jeez, why are you so desperate? And another one is like, when you're on a train or a plane, walk up to each person and say, "Hello, I'm trying to acquire a friend. Would you like to be my friend? Collect friends as you go." Like, it's just horrible advice.
Just terrible advice.
It is really hard to make friends as an adult.
It's quite hard, but again, if you have a podcast and their podcast is the same thing or is the same subject, it's easy to make friends. So even just reaching out and listening to other podcasts is pretty important.
Don't feel bad about doing collabos either. You know, popping into other people's podcasts, even if they don't come back to your podcast, makes them feel a lot better about promoting you and showing the love because it shows them that you care enough about their podcast to be a guest. So, you know, you don't always have to do tit for tat reciprocity. Girl, I don't know what word I was trying to say. Listen, you don't always have to do tit for tat. You know, there are different ways where you all can help each other, and if you're actually build these friendships.
Stop it! Look back at the TV! Stop!
So cute!
Stop it. Oh my god.
I just want to go rub his belly.
Finish your damn sentence,
I don't
Sarah.
remember what I was saying.
Okay, well, to close Sarah's point, again, guesting on other podcasts is a thing we do all the time, you know, and Sarah's always on the, not always, but often on the Geek and Sundry stream.
Say always now.
She's always on the Geek and
Every
Sundry
day.
Twitch. She's on it right
you can't
now.
See me, but I'm camouflaged. I'm in the corner. I'm blue. I'm up against the wall like this. Like that chameleon lady.
You're like stretching around the logo.
Have you seen that chameleon that's actually 2 women?
Oh, yeah, I have.
So my favorite is this video. It shows them unfurling into a human, and it shows a chameleon watching it and screaming. Like a real chameleon goes, "Ah!" And I'm sure it wasn't actually related, but it was the best thing I've ever seen. If anyone can find that link, please share it in the chat.
Yes, it's beautiful and wonderful. But yeah, I think that was those are the biggest points that we wanted to get through. Somehow we got through that all in 10 minutes.
Wow, we the best. Also,
main topic, who cares?
Happy viewers will share your content, so make sure you remind them how important they are to you. You're so important to us.
You guys
baby.
are so
I love you.
Important. Please, RT.
Please.
You guys are great, though. I mean,
share, subscribe.
I'm honestly, and not to get too sappy, I'm happy that so many people have followed us over from from Rebel Base, because when you rebrand pretty early in your podcast, it's a little risky. But we are blessed with you guys, so thank you for sticking with us as we go through a brand change.
I should have took the camera and rocked it so we could have had that 70s show up. Chick pics.
Chick pics.
Time. Oh Lord, I done choked up Catrina.
I laughed too hard.
Common problem at the Sarah the Rebel house. Sarah the Rebel base camp.
Yep.
13 people died today. Of laughter.
Of laughter!
Yes, I won a contest.
Oh, you did? Oh, God.
I didn't know I entered it. But I got this email. I was like, hey, there's going to be this awesome event. Don't annoy our celebrities. Do you agree to abide by these rules? And I'm just like, there's an event with celebrities that I'm going to. This seems like a trap.
Yeah.
So I didn't respond. Anyway, they emailed me again today like, did you get this email? And I was like, oh, it's for Con Man.
Oh!
I won their perk for getting the most referrals to people.
Wow.
Yeah. So don't tell anybody because they haven't had me sign anything. Oh, they're going to announce me, they said. So it should be fine to say. Cool. But it was just kind of hilarious because I was like, man, spam and phishing has really gotten crazy. They know how to use Indiegogos and Kickstarters to lure me. No, I'm actually going.
That's how you get it.
That was not my chick pick, though. My chick pick is I have made my YouTube channel beautiful. I've added a header. I've put in playlists. You can find all the old episodes of our podcast, the Rebel Base podcast. You can catch up on all our current Woman Up podcasts. My Let's Plays, they're all there. And I will be starting a show very soon. I'd like to get it done this week, but we'll see. Because I might have to go help somebody film something. But if I don't, I'm going to do a news show. It's going to be very simple, just recapping the news of the week. And I really would like to do an Ask Sarah show. Where you ask me life questions and I answer you, kind of like Ask Ashley, but for real.
Yeah.
So start sending me your questions. If we're on Twitter, send them to me, tweet them to me, DM them to me if you're shy.
You can ask her things like, Sarah, how do I successfully pick my nose in public without anyone noticing?
Please do. Ask me that. I would love to help you with that. You can also send, if you're on Facebook, you can send messages to my Sarah the Rebel page and I'll send them. And last but not least, if you really need my email, I'll probably create an email or something. I don't know. Are we alternating?
I think we're alternating. So there's this artist named Kiva Bay who recently released a comic on being a gamer while being homeless, and it's a beautiful comic book, and she does little short comic strips on her favorite activists. Kiva is recently out of homelessness and has a Patreon. So if you look her up on Twitter, she's at Kiva Bay. And if you search for her anywhere, she's got great SEO, so you'll find Kiva everywhere. So my chick pick is her wonderful comic about homelessness and gaming, and her Patreon, which should be under Kiva Bay. So please check her out, support her, show her how much we love her, and yeah.
And if you guys continue to support my Patreon, I won't be the next homeless gamer.
Yeah! Let's not make her a homeless gamer. Let's support Sarah's Patreon.
It'll be fun.
It'll be great. I promise. She just promised that she'd play a horror game. And I
did.
Suggest Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh my god.
Contribute more to her Patreon and suggest Five Nights at Freddy's. I'll come watch.
Tease me. I know you will. So I just shared an article. My other chick pick is an article by a woman whose husband is named Walter Scott. In case you're not aware, Walter Scott is a black man who was recently killed by a guy who wasn't even technically a police officer. He was just riding along because he's a dickhead. I don't know. You can watch the video. You can find out all the information on it. Not here to talk about that. But I really enjoyed this article because it was about her trying to explain to her family and what she needs to understand from her perspective about this sort of thing. And it talks about privilege because her husband is named Walter Scott, but he's a white man. And he doesn't have to worry about these sorts of things. And she had a conversation with her daughter where she had to talk about the N-word, and she explained that it was like calling somebody a mudblood, and her daughter had a horrified expression on her face because she reads Harry Potter. So it's just an interesting article to read to get some different perspective. And I really loved it the most because the main point of the article was compassion, and I think, especially with the riots that are going on right now, the biggest thing that people who are so quick to judge and to speak seem to be lacking is compassion and understanding. And this may sound crazy coming from me, but one of my mottos is actually seek first to understand, second to be understood. And I try to do that, and I would like to ask that everyone else try to do the same thing as well. And I think if one day the whole world could do that shit, we would be in a much better place.
Stop thinking with your ass.
Stop thinking with your booty hole. That is not a brain. You are not a leech. You are not some sort of slug creature. Your brain is not your booty hole. Continue.
My second chick pick that Sarah just covered is my podcast. It's called Mos Eisley Comic Port. We are going into our fourth episode on this Friday evening. And so we have a weekly podcast. It is hosted by me, and I bring on all of my geeky Star Wars friends. Sarah needs to also catch up on the comics so she can, I could just lend you my Comixology account. You could just log in and read them all.
All right.
Okay, cool. I'll send you all of my info.
I'll read all of them shit.
Fucking shit.
No problem.
Sarah needs to be on the show. Anyway, it's all about Star Wars comics, and we bring on lots of cool guests. Last time, I added in a little clip from the press conference of Star Wars Rebels, where Simon Kinberg and Dave Filoni, said words to me, which is great.
His name sounds like a type of pasta.
Yes! Dave Filoni. Macaroni.
I took a sip at the exact wrong time.
So check out Mos Eisley Comic Port. You can find it at Comics Mos Eisley on Twitter or the Mos Eisley Comic Port on iTunes and SoundCloud.
Yeah.
Sarah!
Stop yelling at me.
Sarah!
We have a friend on Twitter named Soha, and
Yay!
she had an article on Motherboard about alt games. And essentially, let me actually share the article with you guys. But essentially, the idea is that the word indie in indie games has gotten kind of muddled lately because so many big companies have started backing indie companies. And so now we have a bunch of indie games playable anywhere on PS4 and things like that. So alt games seeks to cover games that are a little more off the beaten path. For example, Guacamelee, while an indie game, is a very traditional game. It's a platformer, it's based on Castlevania, blah, blah, blah. Depression Quest, on the other hand, some people argue is not even a game because it deals with depression and it's more like text-based, more about the experience as you're playing. That Dragon Cancer is another example of that. Mm-hmm. So check out her article and see if maybe there's some alt games you'd like to try out, or if it so inspires you, try creating your own games.
Third on my chick pick list today was New Comic Day, and there were some amazing titles that came out. Top of my list, of course, is Princess Leia #3, which is finally picking up, and I'm so happy. So the last issue was great. We've got some other releases such as Silk coming out this week, and Marvel just announced that it is releasing one-shots for all of the Women of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Coulson.
That's exciting.
And Coulson!
Who's an honorary woman of S.H.I.E.L.D.
He is an honorary, yes.
The guy who does S.H.I.E.L.D. came to Geek and Sundry for one of their comic shows, and I got to talk to him a lot because he was, just sitting backstage feeling awkward because
of course.
each other. Mm-hmm. And he's a really dope dude, and I liked him a lot, so I hope you guys will support Silk. Do it because we told you to.
Do it because we told you to. That was the last of my chick picks. I think you're done with yours.
Yeah, I'm done. All right, we finished on time.
We finished on time?
I think it's because we started on time.
What? We also spent 10 minutes on the main topic, but I'm glad we got to talk about it because it's something that I've wanted to talk about for a while.
Yeah, I don't think time matters more than content.
Mm-hmm.
Quality over quantity, bitches.
Absolutely.
You got some goddamn quality today. I was getting my words mixed up. I had to say it
You've got
slowly.
quality. Everyone's sober. I'm sober.
This is vodka.
I am sober. I have been drinking water, and everything is wonderful. But I guess that's it. I guess that's the end. So, should we say goodbye?
It's too popular now, so they had to call it something else. So hipster. To be fair, if you tell the same sort of people who like Rogue Legacy or Guacamelee to go play that Dragon Cancer, they're gonna be like, God, why did you do this to me? I couldn't even get through that Dragon Cancer. It was just so sad.
It's a very sad game.
Oh my gosh.
Very sad.
Alt games tend to be more about just the experience or social experiments. That's why I love going to Indiecade. It is probably my favorite convention besides PAX. And I just like PAX because everybody's there. That's where I see all my friends. But Indiecade is so much fun because you get to try these experiences and you get to see people kind of bending and stretching your idea of what a game is. Bailey!
Stop!
I need to give him a middle name. Bailey Josephine Rodriguez.
I was thinking like Bailey James.
Bailey.
Might be smoother.
Bailey James.
Bailey James Rodriguez.
He got quiet. He knows his damn name. Let me show you. Wait, I've shown everybody else on the internet this. Let me show you this picture I took of Bailey today, and then we'll say bye.
Okay.
But I hope there's no nudie pictures on here.
Bailey Gerard. No, Bailey.
Gerard?
Bailey Gerard. No, Bailey.
He does need, like, a Jeremiah. He needs, like, 3 syllables. Look at this bitch. He knocked over my pizza box. And I came in, and he was like...
We haven't even said goodbye yet.
I love
We're,
this
like,
pizza box. I love it so much. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you so much.
Be sure to... This will be uploaded to my YouTube channel. Sarah the
SarahTheRebel.
Rebel Official.
Official.
Yeah. And, of course, you can follow us on Twitter to get the latest updates. Okay, bye!
Bye! Please follow Women on Podcast on Twitter!
I'm saying bye to you, but I have to go all the way across the room to turn it off.
Bye! I'm saying goodbye until it's turned off. Bye! Follow us on Twitter at Women Up Podcast. Check out our streams on Sarah the Rebel Official at YouTube.